Shalom Aleichem. This is Rabbi Howard here. I want to raise up a few questions here. I had somebody ask me, why do we do Shabbat on Friday and Saturday, and why is it such a big deal? Well, I think, well, if you're a believer of Yashua, you should do as he did and not question the Shabbat, but realize he did Shabbat. He was one who made it routine and his habit in his Judaism to go to the synagogue and worship. So let's read in Luke 4, verses 16 through 17. Now he went to Nazareth, where he had been brought up. On Shabbat he went to the synagogue as usual. He stood up to read, and he was given the scroll of the prophet Yashua. Unrolling the scroll, he found the place where it was written, "The Spirit of Adonai is upon me, because he has anointed me to announce good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the imprisoned and renewed sight for the blind, to release those who have been crushed, to proclaim a year of the favor of Adonai." Then he goes on in verse 21 and says to them, "Today, as you have it read, the passage of the Tanakh has been fulfilled." And in other translations, it'll say, "Today, as you heard it read, the passage of the Tanakh has been fulfilled." But he said it was fulfilled. So he said it in a personally identified context, the saying, as I just read this to you, I fulfilled this. And what he's talking about is Isaiah 61. So what I want to point out about Isaiah 61 is a very fascinating chapter, where in 61 it actually has two portions. It's one Isaiah 61, but it has two halves. So what Yashua was trying was that, behold, I had just fulfilled this first half of Isaiah 61. Interestingly enough, he stayed silent about the second half because it hadn't happened yet. That is future prophecy context. So it's a twofold prophecy. He fulfilled the first part of Isaiah 61, not the second part. The second part is when he comes back again in the future. So the first portion, what I also wanted to point out, is that if you get away from the King James Version, which I strongly encourage, and try to study from the Complete Jewish Study Bible, but in the King James Version, people get the word Messiah somehow. But in this Jewish Study Bible, it doesn't say the word Messiah so expressly. It may be because that is the future context. He may have had that title, role, and expectation, but it's not intended fully until the future, which is not too far off, I should point. But the Messiah role itself, or the Messiah movement, or the Messiah actions of intervention, comes in the future. It's not here yet. So that's what Yeshua was saying, is that, hey, I just fulfilled Isaiah 61 in the first portion of it, not the whole chapter. So that confuses people. So more about the Shabbat. So we go over into Mark 2:27. The Sabbath was made for man, man not for the Sabbath. And then it goes on to say, therefore the Son of Man is Lord also of the Sabbath. So that's some pretty powerful statements. So what he's saying is, you weren't made for Shabbat. Shabbat was made for you. That was for you to rest and observe God and keep that Sabbath. So the whole point here is, when you get into the Sabbath, this is several times now where Yeshua has spoken to say that he has fulfilled and continues to fulfill and expects other people to abide by the Shabbat. And that's what the importance of it is. There's also been these cases where we have Jewish rabbis saying very similar things to what Rabbi Yeshua said. In fact, it was Rabbi Jonathan ben Yosef, or Yonatan ben Yosef. And he said, Shabbat was made for mankind, for it is holy unto you. And he means it is committed into your hands, not you into its hands. So we have a lot of future studies to do about the other half of Isaiah 61, which is yet to be fulfilled, and it refers to the Messiah or the Messiah movement of the Messianic age. And it talks about the coming and the rebuilding of the temple. And that's where we want to be keeping our attention to as well, is the temple is coming and it's not far away. So a lot of things that people misunderstand about Isaiah 61 is when it's talking about the half that's to come, the destruction that comes is upon the wicked. That is, people who don't follow the Torah, people who don't worship God, people who don't keep the Shabbat. That's what it's talking about. And it's not talking about the temple or the people of Israel.